totally unexpected move from Canon in a good way. You have seen this on the line, on the web, probably. This is the PowerShot V1. This is basically the Canon's answer to Sony ZV-1, and they make it bigger sensor, make it better. This is a close to a micro four thirds sensor, which it is what we have been asking Panasonic to do, but Canon did it now. But what's more, they got a R50V. Basically, this is the Sony ZV-E10. Oh, also we have this just a lens. I mean, 20 millimeters f1.4L. But today we are going to be focused on these two. I'm really excited about these two because usually vlogging or entry-level camera, you have a lot of compromises. Not these two. So let's start looking at the R50V first. And now I am using the PowerShot V1 to shoot this video. So at the same time, you can see how the V1 perform. So R50V, basically this is the video version of the R50. They use the same sensor. You can see the size is actually really similar as well. Almost the same width, like a few millimeters difference. This is a little bit shorter because it doesn't have the EVF and the flash. So this is RF mount, so you can use RF lenses, RFS lenses. Especially RFS lenses, you have more and more choices nowadays. Some of them are pretty good. And this is a new lens as well. This is a 14 to 30 RFS lens, the first one with power zoom. You can use this to zoom. This is internal zoom as well. Or from here, you can zoom from here as well. As you can see, you can zoom really quite slow. But when you stop, it still stops quite abruptly. Of course, there's a tally light. Yeah, the body, let's talk about the body itself, is magnesium chassis. They do this because it helps with cooling the sensor. Because Canon claimed that in under normal room temperature, 23 degrees Celsius, you can shoot 4K 30 or 25p forever. I mean, until the battery die or the card full, but it won't overheat under 23 degrees Celsius when you shoot 4K 30. This is really great. It can also shoot 4K 60 with a crop. Here, the usual mic jack, headphone jack. Yeah, that's good. HDMI, as you might expect, it would be a micro HDMI for a camera this small. And the USB-C port. Of course, you can charge a battery and it supports UVC. So you can use this camera as a webcam mode when you shoot it up to 4K 30. And when you use the UVC in Full HD, live stream with Full HD, it can support power from the USB-C. So if you live stream with Full HD with the USB-C, you can live stream it for as long as you like. It won't use the battery at all. So as you can see, it shoots 422 10 bits, and there is false color as well. Now the false color, slightly annoying is that the false color, you have to turn off zebra before you can use false color. So only one of them. But I really love using false color if it's available. So you can set up your exposure. So then I can just quickly change it. And while I'm shooting, I can just look at the skin color and quickly switch it back. Especially if it's shooting log, this is so useful. I'm so excited about this false color. So now I'm testing the R50V. I'm using the A+ mode, some kind of intelligent mode that usually, of course, it's good for entry level, good for new camera users. So everything is auto. I have to tell you that this is not the best image quality it can do. It can do better with Chillhop, but I'm testing how the intelligent auto fare. So also, this is the new 14 to 30mm f4 to 6.3. So on a crop sensor like this, it's not going to give you a lot of shallow depth of field. A lot of shallow depth of field, a lot of bokeh. Yeah, you don't really get much shallow depth of field on a crop sensor. And of course, this is I forgot to step up ring for other lenses. So I'm going to just hold this in front of the lens and see. It should give you a shallower depth of field, probably not much. What if I zoom in? This is good that when I zoom in, it don't it's internal zoom. So yeah, it's a bit. I think a bit of now. Look, the zoom is so. It could be so slow. So now I'm shooting with C-Log 3. So this is the image quality that you can do. More dynamic range, better color, and when I turn around, it won't get brighter, darker, and things like that. So we are going to test the image stabilization. It doesn't have in-body stabilization, so the sensor doesn't do shift stabilization. This new 14 to 30mm lens have OIS. Usually Canon OIS pretty good. So you can see how good this is, and I can tell you about the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. Before that, years ago, everyone had to install antivirus, but today you probably should install VPN instead. But NordVPN is probably the best choice. With VPN, it protects your privacy because through VPN, your ISP won't know what website you go to. Protect your website history, web browsing history. But also, the website you go to don't actually get your own IP. It gets the IP of the VPN instead. Now with digital IS, it's cropped in a slight bit, but more stable. Also, if you need to use public Wi-Fi, for example, if you work in a cafe or if you go overseas, using VPN is, I think, is essential these days because there are loads of fake Wi-Fi. Even though it's real, the Wi-Fi of the cafe, you never know how unsecure it is. If you want to try it out, use my link in the description down below or the QR code. You can try it for 30 days. Within 30 days, if you don't like it, you can cancel it, take all your money back. Basically, a free trial. And this is the best way to support this channel. So thank you very much. So maybe you have seen this PowerShot V1 already online. I got the name, done it in Japan CP Plus already. But I only got it now, so I'm going to still talk about it now again. Not again, it's first time for me. But one thing you can't see it online is that it's actually bigger than I thought when I see it in person. But this is understandable, and I would prefer this than a slim body because it got the coolest thing of this camera. It got cooling fan. This is the first time. I mean, Canon don't even put cooling fan in other. Only the R50 got a cooling fan. A compact camera with cooling fan. These don't overheat just like the R50V. Under normal room temperature, 23 degrees Celsius, when you shoot 4K, 25 or 30p, this will never overheat at all. Of course, if you're in hot climate, then you can wait for when I get this in my hand, get this to my high-tech overheat testing facility that I have one at home, then I can test how does it fare in a hot climate. But yeah, not much compromises. This doesn't overheat. It got a sensor that is, I think it is the minimum because this got a, Canon said it is a 1.4-inch sensor, which is actually really similar to Micro Four Thirds sensor. So now testing the PowerShot V1. This is really wide. I mean, I mentioned that it's bigger than I thought. But when I'm holding this is, I don't know, is it after I hold that R50V for a while? This is like nothing, the weight. This is actually pretty amazing because like it all in one. Everything is, I need that on this one camera. There's no interchangeable lens, there's no ND because it got built-in ND, free-stop built-in ND. Have I mentioned that? We have been asking Panasonic to do this, but they just don't. Now Canon do it first. And this is like an upgraded ZV-1 because ZV-1 use 1-inch sensor. To be honest, 1-inch sensor, it was great. It had been great, but now 1-inch sensor, smartphone done much better than 1-inch sensor. You have to have a sensor. Now I haven't tested this, but in theory, I mean I haven't tested enough, but in theory, like a Micro Four Thirds sensor, some kind of 2x crop sensor, then you can get images that's better than a phone. So I think this is really crucial. Like 2-3 years ago, I would happily suggest ZV-1, but this is an upgrade version. This will take better images video than a phone. So now I'm shooting C-Log 3. Obviously it's overexposed because the lowest ISO is 800, but I have built-in ND. See if I can free-stop ND. It's really useful. Right, I'm using f5.6. Maybe I can use maybe 5. Okay, f5. I have to say the ND, the built-in ND, that's auto setting as well. But when I'm using MO full menu, the ND just on or off. One thing maybe slightly annoying is that the ports are on the right side. Yeah, as you can imagine, if I have a mic, this is a Canon mic, and I have the mic plug it in this side, then it's fine if I'm doing selfie. But if I'm shooting anything in front, then yeah, it's kind of annoying that it blocking it a little bit. Battery low, you put it in USB-C cable, then it will get kind of annoying. Also, just like the ZV-1, you got this included this wind block that you put on the hot shoe, actually a cold shoe. This is this cold shoe, but then it is a multi-function cold shoe because it got a digital connection there. Then you can use Canon digital mic. Then you don't have to put in a cable and blocking this side as well. Image stabilization with the lens only. Also, the sensor doesn't have sensor shift stabilization. It's also just lens OIS. But as I mentioned, Canon OIS is pretty good. Especially this is really wide lens, 16mm. I mean, this is just amazing. Let's just try the digital IS as well. It's cropped in just a little bit. Of course, it will be fine in broad daylight. When it's a little bit dark, it might got some motion blur in your stabilized footage. But most of the time, I think you don't even need to use digital IS. It's not like Sony. I mean, when I say this doesn't have much compromises because it have a big enough sensor. I mean, it basically similar to Micro Four Thirds. It's just good enough that you can get better quality than smartphone. It got a wide enough lens, 16mm. This is just really great, and it got good enough OIS. This PowerShot V1 really is something else. Even though it's basically the same concept with ZV-1 and it looked really similar too. But without the limitation of the ZV-1 1-inch sensor, and the ZV-1 lens really barely enough for vlogging. I mean, yeah, ZV-1 Mark II got a 20mm, but on a Sony, you have to use digital stabilization. And it's not 20mm anymore, more like 23. It also only shoots 8-bit video, not really useful when you shoot S-Log. Originally, I thought the ZV-1 was pretty good, well, until you get something better. The R50V, maybe you think that is really similar to the R50, although R50 can shoot video as well. but only R50V can shoot C-Log and 4K 60, which make it really similar to the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, which Canon really need the R50V to compete with ZV-E10 Mark II. If you compare the R50 to the ZV-E10 Mark II, which one you think is more appealing? So this is really unexpected. When Sony suddenly released the ZV-1, it was like, oh, Sony just discovered vlogging. After all these years, Canon finally joined in the fight. And now it seems compact camera is cool again, with the cool kits. The camera roll in 2025 will it be once again as fun as the digital compact camera days before?